Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Chicago is one of the top media markets in the country, so it makes some sense. But I got to tell you, Philadelphia, not far behind. Cleveland, Ohio, not far behind. I would guess that precedent is now set.
They now would be paying, based on the last 12 months numbers, they'd be paying an additional $81.6 million in taxes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. And the finals are here. The NBA, after it feels like a 6-month reprieve. They are back at it here tonight in Boston as the Celtics hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1 of the NBA Finals will be tipping off here in just about the next 25 minutes. And we have got you covered for the whole game here tonight in a very special edition of In-Game Live Primetime. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, and we've got some market movement, Dave. It took long enough. We talked about it this week, kind of head scratching as to what in the hell is the total still stuck at 214 for? Well, not anymore. 217 and a half. It looks like finally we're starting to see that over money come rolling in. There are some sixes out there, which just tells me more public money rolling in on the Dallas Mavericks, who are clearly the road dog favorites by the public here tonight. Now, if that holds out to be true, I don't know. Is this thing going to go 6? Does it hit 7? Is this all a head fake, Dave? What do you make of it so far?
Oh, there's people waiting to lay 6. They're going to drive Rinks trucks in if they can lay 6. So the books are sitting at 6.5. Once it gets to this point, I mean, these games are never up this long. Basketball games don't sit, like the loaf of bread that sits on the shelf for 7 days. When you go to get it on the 7th day, it's not really fresh. This number's stale. It's been sitting there all, 9 days since the last time there was an NBA game? Been a long time. So, little game of chicken between, the rhombuses and the parallelograms, and everybody's waiting. And then all of a sudden, everybody goes, wait a second. Game's tonight. It's Thursday. Yeah, let's go. Bet over. These both teams score, right? They just bet over. That happens in football season too. Usually when you see the move come day of game, hours before the game, it's always on the over because the book goes, hey, it's time. You better move it. All right, we got enough over at 15. Let's go to 216. Let's keep putting it up there and see where it goes. Now, the in-game stuff, we love it. Me and you do this every Monday and Thursday. I do it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays with Wetzel. There's going to be numerous opportunities. If you like the Celtics, you can wait, which I think is actually going on with some people, right? We'll be able to lay less than 6.5 at some point, maybe very early. If Dallas starts out hot, it's going to come down a little. So, yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm just happy we're finally playing, Joe. It's been a long time. It feels like, I mean, was the buzz the same? I mean, like you're down in Miami, you're getting ready to host the Stanley Cup. Talk to a lot of people here, wager talk, all this stuff. Like the anticipation level didn't really ramp up until what, yesterday? I thought it was almost out of sight, out of mind until really yesterday, right?
Well, it's also so unique, right? Because you had not one, but two of the conference finals all decided in 5 games. So it's unfortunately, I don't know if there's any way to float the start of the NBA finals, but it just so happened. Usually one team's in for a 6 or 7 game. I mean, don't forget, this time last year, Miami and Boston were playing in a 7-game series to decide who was going to play Denver. Denver had already finished up their playoffs rather easily, and we're waiting to see, are they going to play Boston, who lost the first 3 games of the Eastern Conference Finals before winning 3 straight. So we kind of didn't have this lull a year ago with Miami because the whole narrative was they're going to blow a 3-0 lead. Oh, my goodness, no team ever blows a 3-0 lead. But this year, you had Dallas take care of business. You had Boston take care of business. And now we've got 9 days to scratch our head and try to figure out, oh, yeah, there's basketball still being played. But I do think tonight will be a long way into getting people back in the NBA mode. But when's the next game, Dave? I mean, here we are Thursday. The next game is Sunday. So, yeah. Thank goodness the NHL starts also this weekend. Otherwise, talk about out of sight, out of mind. It's a total buzzkill having this many days in between.
And it's strange because, like, in the book, you build up the handle and there's people taking shots on the props and dabbling in all kind of different markets. But the handle on everything else is boosted on the days of these games. So short card baseball, there's 2 WNBA games today. Sunday will be good because you've got a full slate of baseball. And you'll be coming off the Belmont, which for horse players is their last hurrah. It's a Triple Crown race that doesn't involve the Triple Crown. So we'll have that. And then we'll be talking about whether Florida beat Edmonton in Game 1, which, I mean, let's be honest, I think they are. I think Florida's going to win Game 1. I can't wait to watch that. So I don't know, Joe. It's the historical nature of what the Celtics are looking at doing is as much of a story as anything else. Now, are people willing to back that, bet that? The books are literally with a stop sign, 6.5. Come and get it, lay it, take it, whatever you want. I don't want to say these things book themselves when you get to this point, but you're not going to see much line movement in this stuff before the game.
Well, you have it's a fascinating case study because you had a lot of books kind of at odds. I mean, you have a lot of sharps that are going, what are you doing pricing the Celtics this cheap in the series as well as this game? And, talking to a lot of the sportsbook operators, they're all going, listen, this is a perception problem for Boston right now. Not that hey, listen, how many times have they been here to the Eastern Conference Finals or to the Finals? It feels like they have been a staple for the last, 5 years here, and they have been. They've also won how many games this year? Won how many games at home? I mean, when you look at the numbers, they are up there with some of these all-time great teams like the super ridiculous Golden State Warriors back in 2019. I mean, when you go down through the numbers, this team has been an absolute wrecking ball this year, and a lot of people going, how in the hell are they only 6.5 points in this game? And the books are going because the public thinks they walked into this finals, weren't tested, and aren't as good as they think they are. So it's a fascinating case study. And is the public going to be right? I mean, are they overvalued, the Celtics, or are we just falling in love, recency bias with Dallas here? What's going to happen here? I can't wait to see how it comes out.
Well, that correct score prop is a great way to kind of evaluate where a lot of the perception is. Now, this is an underutilized market by bettors because, I mean, you have to kind of price out what the spread would be. What's the line going to be when Boston goes to Dallas, if they win both games and cover, if they split, if they this, if they that. So, I mean, that's what the odds makers' jobs is to do. And, you put up these prices. Dallas winning the game, winning the series 4-2 is priced differently because they're playing at home.
Yeah.
I heard some people talking about that tonight on Game Time Decisions with Kevin, between Raheem and Coach and a couple other people. The Dallas prices, look at the bottom of that sheet, they're all the longer prices. So whether the perception is real or the betting action is real, that's what it tells you is going to happen. Boston to win in 7 games is priced the same as Boston to win in 5 because they're both playing in Boston. That's pretty much the reason why. So I don't know, Joe. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a fun night. We got a bunch of guests coming in and out and, hanging out. Peralt's coming on at halftime. What do you think a Boston guy's thinking right now? Boy.
Wow. There's a clear pros versus Joes divide in this game here. We'll get ready for it when in-game live primetime continues.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
1-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live prime time here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan as we're getting ready for game 1 of the NBA Finals. Boston Celtics at home, currently a 6.5-point favorite. As we're waiting to see some more money come in, and will it move it down to 6? Will it move it up to 7 before tip-off? We got about 15 minutes or so. We do know the public loves themselves an over, and that's exactly where they've been betting this thing all day. 217.5. You woke up this morning, Yeah, 214s were available to you, but there is no doubt, doesn't appear to be a lot of people are worried about rust in this one here tonight. But the question is, game one, clear divide, 60, 70% of the tickets, 60, 70% of the money, all in favor of Dallas. And yet, boy, oh boy, this line opened up at 4.5, moved to 6.5. So there is clear public support for Dallas. The pros looking at Boston. Well, only time will tell, but I know one of the big bets, Dave, all week long. I've been talking to guys. They love the Boston wins game one, Dallas wins the series. Boston wins game one, Boston wins the series, right? Okay. So this whole game one series parlay is a favorite of a lot of folks to bet here tonight. I don't know that they're not correlated, although I do know a lot of folks think, yeah, Celtics get game one, but we're sleeping on the Mavericks here. They might win the series. That's not a bad price either.
Correct. I heard it today on ESPN. Probably been used over and over, but ESPN Stats and Info said 70% of the time in the NBA Finals, I believe it was in the last 50, but it might have been in the last 75. I can't remember specifically. I believe it was 75, 53 and 22. 70% of the time, the winner of game one wins the series.
Yeah.
So it's because the home team usually wins game one. And makes perfect sense. If the visiting team wins game one, they take home court advantage away, and we move on from there. So I don't know. That's a good bet. I know this. There's been a huge amount of discussion about the NBA Finals MVP. And when you look at the odds for that, it's one of those situations where I always say this, the numbers tell a story. I look at that and go, well, this is pretty easy. It's a 3-horse race. It's Tatum or maybe Brown, and it's Luka. Now, there's been a little buzz about Kyrie, the return back to Boston. But of all the rest of the people on that list, the question I think that's been answered by the market moving on the total is that Porzingis is going to play more minutes than maybe people thought before. And he is feeling much better. Now, whether that's the Zapruder film being put out the last couple of days of him in the gym looking great and all that other stuff, I've heard some people taking a stab at that 33-1, Joe. Any interest in that? Would that for me, it's not something that I would do, but I think people might go, oh, well, if he's healthy, he's going to get a lot of minutes. I'm going to take him at 33-1 as a long shot. I don't advise that, but what do you think?
I would much rather be in the market of how many quarters before he gets hurt again. And right now, I think I have a bet on 2.5 quarters. So I'm betting that he doesn't make it to the third quarter in this game here. So before we all start crowning Glass Joe, Kristaps Porzingis for anything, let's see if we just can't get him into the second half of this game. That would be fantastic. And by the way, since the year 2000, to your point, Dave, we have the team with the better record coming into the finals, 18-6, 75%. It's just unbelievable here. And the home team is 31-9 in game ones of the finals, 78%. I mean, my goodness. And by the way, those that win game one, 24-7 in the series, 77%. So there is a huge profile here looking at the Boston Celtics to win game one because of their record. And if they do, they're the home team. And boy, oh boy, they got a pretty good shot. Those numbers are staggering when you consider it, Dave, how absolutely unbelievably
numbers, though, right.
That's straight up, right? Straight up. Yep.
Okay,
all straight up numbers, right? Right. All straight up numbers.
Okay, so those are money line numbers. If you want to play the Celtics on the money line, that's fine. You could probably parlay a little Boston parlay, City
and
parlay
win the series
tonight.
They win the championship.
They win the championship. The Red Sox are playing the White Sox tonight. Little Boston for you if you need that. That's an even money parlay. Money line. You know, both are 240, 250-ish range. No?
Oh, no.
You think the White Sox win it tonight against the Red Sox?
I can't. Listen. I would rather drink at the bottom of my bourbon bottle than have to bet on Boston. And, well, I might drink it anyway, given the fact that that's even been thrown out there. But Boston and Chicago, I can't think of two teams I trust less at the moment here. Listen, the bottom line to me is if you like Boston, bet Boston. The numbers and everything show you that if they're going to win game one, throw the 6 out. It doesn't matter. They're going to win this game. And if you like Boston, you can bet them, Dave, in 5 games. You can bet them in 6 games. You can bet them, I think, even in 7 games to win 5, 6, or 7. And you can still get and you get a pretty good return on it. So if you like Boston, bet them to win. I don't think this is a sweep. It's the only thing I would rule out at this point either way. I don't think Boston's sweeping them, and I don't think Dallas is sweeping them. I'm thinking 5 to 7 games, and you can make money backing Boston either way in 5, 6, or 7.
I agree 100%. I don't think there's a sweep either way. I'd be really surprised. Like, nothing surprises me really much anymore in sports and betting and things like that, but a sweep either way would surprise me. So I think you just have to pick which game. It's very hard to win a clinching game on the road. That's why the prices are for 5 and 7 accordingly versus the 6.
Yep. And pretty good plus money. So there's ways to go about this. Dallas is another interesting one if you want to play them. We'll talk about some of those bets when we get back here. NBA Finals Edition in-game live.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here. A little NBA Finals Game 1 coming your way. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. As they're about 11 or 12 minutes away from the opening tip-off. A little bit of a late start here on the East Coast. Going to be much closer to around 8:40, 8:45 is when this game is going to start here, Dave. So much for those of you on the West Coast there at about 5:40 or so. But either way, it should be a interesting night in this game. So let's talk about some of the bets here we're looking at in this one. I agree with the market move to the total over. I think I didn't understand the 214 to begin with. Don't give me the rust excuse, Dave. There is no rust when you get to the NBA Finals. And every time that we've seen Boston at home in a game one off a long layoff, it usually results in at least 120 points or more for them. So I do think having Luka and company a week off, get a little healthy. I don't think the defenses play a role in this series until we get to game 3 or 4, Dave. I think the offenses and the threes are going to be reigning here tonight, especially early on. So I've got 110.5 in the first half over. I can see both of these teams before they start laying out and sacrificing their bodies to play defense. I think early on in this, it's going to be catch and shoot, a lot of threes, guys just chucking it up. I don't think defense is going to be a big storyline early. So I'm going in the first half over. And if you like the full game over here, Dave, then I don't see how Luka doesn't get over his points. I know a lot of guys that love not Tatum tonight. They love Jaylen Brown tonight to go up and over his point total. And there lies the dilemma with me with Boston. Who do you pick, Dave, on a daily night between Tatum and Brown? Brown's been more consistent in these playoffs, but, I mean, you just don't know which guy's going to show up and when, do you?
You don't. And, I mean, if you like to get involved, you could play them both. But if you have to pick one, I'm hearing the same stuff you're hearing, right? Like, I liked what I saw in the Eastern Conference Finals with Brown. So that would be my guy Celtics-wise. And, you know, when you look at it, okay, the team total makes a lot of sense. The rust factor, it nullifies itself with both teams are off. If one is sitting and the other one is not, then you have to, you know, worry about it more. What happens, like in hockey, to draw a comparison, when you have a long layoff, sometimes it's sloppy hockey. That's what we used to call it when you had, you know, when we played hockey and when we, you know, made numbers and stuff. You get passes aren't crisp. It takes a little while to get going. That's the only way rust is going to matter tonight, where the beginning of the game is just not a comedy of errors, but there's just not precision. You may miss a couple shots where it starts slow. We're going to know 4 minutes in, maybe by the first, you know, halfway point of the first quarter, we'll know if it's going to be like that, if it's going to change, or if it's flying over. I think if we get a fast start, Joe, it's going to keep going. It's going to be one of those momentum things that you're talking about, where we'll get to halftime and we'll go, wow. I mean, we were over that number with 3.5 minutes to go. They finished with 118 in the first half. That was easy. And, you know, we'll discuss it at halftime between us and the guests that we have of what they're seeing. You'll be able to see it in the number. This is going to fly. Like the number in game with the amount of volume, the amount of people watching, the amount of people betting, it changes different than it does for the NBA Finals is way different as far as the in-game stuff. So 111.5, that's great. Game one team total for the Celtics. Now for the Mavericks team total, 105.5. Not overly confident one way or the other with that number with the Mavericks. How about you?
Listen, the Mavericks have already shown us much better on the road these playoffs, and they play with a much faster tempo on the road. Boston is averaging 46 three-point attempts a game in the playoffs. 46. Okay? Just the law of averages. And the math tells me if we get a certain percentage of those threes falling for both teams, Dallas is not going to be able to settle for 2-point shots. They're going to have to go toe-to-toe from three. And if that happens, this thing is not even coming close to staying under the total. We'll have more. The tip coming up here, in-game live, prime time here on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen. And the answer is, it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, Prime Time.
1-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, Overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live prime time, a very special edition here. The NBA Finals getting ready to tip off here in just a couple of minutes. It's a packed house there at the Boston Garden as the Celtics look to finally be able to break through after an epic year and really some heartbreak over the last couple of years, Dave. They have been a fixture coming out of the East. Everyone always seems to bet against them, and they usually live up to that failure and don't get it done, haven't gotten it done. This dates all the way back to the bubble and those days there back in 2020. So it's not a lack of talent, and I think you and I have said it from day one here. If the Celtics don't win the championship this year, it's probably going to be because of the Celtics and nobody else. So this is going to be a fascinating. Are they different? Is it different this time around here, Dave? And if you do like the Celtics to win the series, given what we have talked about in game one and how usually the home team, the favorite, is really a good percentage bet here to win it. Are we getting them ever at a discount than we are right now in this series here? It just feels like if you like the Celtics, bet them now because the Mavericks will be a dog this entire series in some way, shape, or form.
100%. That Celtics win game one, win the series parlay is going to be the best price that you're going to see if the Celtics win. And it ain't going to change that much if they lose. That's the thing. If the Celtics win, it's going to change drastically. Unless somebody gets hurt. Again, you always have to consider not that that is a factor in the handicap, but the numbers are only affected now by something like that. So what you see, like one of the things that I've learned over life being in a book is that the results are the results, but the process has to stay the same in the book.
Right.
No matter what happens, if Boston wins by 25 tonight, if Dallas wins outright, the numbers come in 6, 6.5, or 7 the next game. If everybody's playing, there's not a change in the venue. There's not a change in other than the officials. And again, that's a whole nother narrative that the people have gone on and talked about, things like that. So, I don't know.
True.
I mean, there's a lot of fun bets. K-Dub wanted me to mention before the game started. He took P.J. Washington to hit the first 3 at plus 850. I mean, that's for the kids. First basket odds. Look at this. Great job, boys. Jaylen Brown to score the first basket. Why is he the favorite instead of Tatum? Did they tip him the ball? I don't know. So, Luka, 7-1, make the first basket.
Yep.
Kyrie, plus 950. Well, you could have fun with that bet. Pick 2 guys on each team. It's a bummer, though, if one of the 4 doesn't get it. But
yes.
How do you handicap that, Joe? Is there anything to handicap that with? Okay,
no.
Thank you.
There's a no. There's a blindfold, spin around 3 times, put the roster up on the wall, and just try and just point to somebody there, and you should be good to go. Although Jaylen Brown has been profitable throughout the year, is what I'm being told, that he has been a guy that usually he gets that prop in the bag more so than Tatum. Jaylen Brown's usually the one that for whatever the set plays and the opening possessions, he's a guy that tends to take those shots and usually gets them. I thought this was an interesting market too, as teams that how much will the biggest lead be, Dave? What would the biggest comeback be? These are some interesting markets too, as well, especially if you think. I mean, listen, we've already seen Dallas trail by 18 in that game, I believe, against Minnesota early, right, and came back and won it in the last series. So we have seen monster comebacks, and those are pretty big numbers. If you think Dallas, even Boston, to their credit, right, those last 2 games against the Pacers, they had to come from behind. They were losing the whole game and then had to come from behind. So this is an interesting market to keep an eye on as the game continues and the series continues to progress.
They were down both games and came back and won. Now, when you look at the numbers there's a lot of zeros behind it. For people new, we got people joining, watching us and keeping the game on. That's 430 is 430 to 1. That's what you get. 4.3, 7-1, 14 to 1. So go down to the 20 to 1s. Let's work backwards, Joe. Do you think that either team is going to be trailing by 20 before the game? No, I really don't. So 50 to 1 and 60 to 1, that's a nice price. On top of them having to get that lead, the other team has to lose and blow that lead to have that happen. I'll be the first one to tell you, if there's a team with a 20-point lead tonight, they're going to win the game. So maybe put a line through those 2. Now, the other ones are interesting because there can be a 15-point lead in the first half and the other team come back and win. Absolutely, that could happen. So those are fun bets. Which one would you rather take in that situation? I would rather at home, game 1, Boston to trail by 10, obviously the favorite, but Boston to trail by 15 and win, very viable. Very viable. I don't think the path to victory for Dallas tonight is to trail by 15 or more and come back and win. But you see it all the time in these playoffs, especially at home, right? With the Celtics, they have a couple bad quarters, first half, whatever, trail early third quarter, 16, 17, come back, chip it away. You trail by 6 going to the fourth, win and maybe cover the spread. It's not a bad price at 14 to 1.
I like all of those ideas simply because these 2 teams are the 2 teams that have scored the least percentage of points from 2. So these are 2 of the most prolific, chuck them up, hit threes, and that's why no 20-point lead. So if there's any teams left of all the teams in the NBA that could have made it to the finals, these are the 2 you want to try and hit a home run with, because these are the 2 that will have the offense and the talent to be able to overcome a 20-point deficit there. So it's 60 to 1 and 50 to 1. I mean, it's better than buying a scratch off because these 2 teams have the 3-point game and the talent to be able to overcome those kinds of deficits. And we've seen it, right? Boston comes out firing. They're shooting 50% in the first half from three. They've already scored 70 points. Well, we've seen Dallas do that too. And yet the games sometimes find a way of getting a lot closer, don't they? So it's going to be an interesting look here as they are off and running. Opening tip ready to go here in Dallas. Game one of the NBA Finals is ready to go. So we're going to keep you posted on this and keep an eye on some of these prop bets too that will no doubt be adjusting in game. But if you had Al Horford on a dunk for the first points, congratulations. Although, did we have that on the board? Was Al Horford dunk on the chart there? No. Do you see Porzingis out there? I do not.
No.
Yes.
Coming
I
off
do
the
not
bench
see
tonight.
Porzingis.
Coming off the bench.
Yes. And no minutes restriction, they say.
Right. That's another one move that kind of slid out in the space and was like, oh, yeah, he doesn't have a minute restriction. He's going to play. We talked about it on Boston versus the book earlier today about Horford. P-Roll brought it up and said he liked Horford over because he's going to play less minutes. And I told him I thought that was not a bad way of thinking about it. He's going to be fresher. He doesn't have to shoot threes. They've been putting him in the corner before, and, nobody puts Baby in the corner. That was a great movie, guys. Look it up, called Dirty Dance.
Pretty nice,
Nobody puts Al Horford in the corner tonight.
It's Rick.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing that you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, Prime Time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, Overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game, a live primetime, very special NBA Finals edition here as they are off and running in Boston. 12-9 Celtics on top right now with about 7.5 minutes to go. A little bit sloppy, Dave, as I can best describe it. A lot of dunks, a lot of uncontested misses, those types of things, some threes. We've gotten a little bit of everything here in the first 3 minutes. But there is no doubt the tempo feels fast enough for the over to be considered here. In-game number, I'm seeing 219, somewhere in that ballpark there. So 218 and a half. There you go. So a little sloppy. Some bricks. They're building a house there, but some easy dunks too.
Yeah, easy dunks in the middle, down the lane, and then Horford is in the corner. Already hit a couple. Was he have 2 corners?
Yep.
So he's shooting. You know who hasn't scored yet? What are we, 5 minutes in? I don't have Tatum scoring a basket yet. His in-game number's already moved down to 20.5. So it closed, 26 and a half? I think it was. So it was already down 2 points. The fluctuation in the numbers is fascinating to me.
Yep.
I never had to do individual player prop in game. We did side total, money line, and would offer, sometimes first half, stuff like that in game, more team stuff. So the individual stuff really fascinates me. And I mean, player made threes, that's actually a live market right now. And yeah, who has one? Horford has one. Holiday has one. The Celtics are starting off with the guys that you didn't really necessarily think would.
Yep.
Sometimes when you see that,
Porzingis in too.
You go,
yep.
Oh, look, they're involving the other guys now, and we're good. That might bring the Stars numbers down. Or do you think that's when you play the Stars, Brown and Tatum, because they're going to get the ball in the later second quarter, second half? Which one? You think it's like the bench night? Call it the bench mob, or no? You like the Stars?
Yeah, well, I never fade Stars and props ever. It's just not a winning proposition long term. But I will say this: there are certain Stars in which you're okay with them not performing early. A guy like Tatum, to me, is a guy that you hope he has 4 points in the first half, because how many times have we seen Jason Tatum, after a terrible first half, take over a game in the second half, and only you're getting the number at a heck of a lot different price than what you would have pre-flop. So there are some guys that you can absolutely count on to bounce back in the second half. So don't count the superstars out if they're not exactly getting off to great starts. A lot of basketball to be played here, and Tatum is still hovering 24 and a half. And like you said, I don't think he has a bucket. I think his number was 28 and a half, somewhere in that ballpark. So I wouldn't be counting any of these guys out. But Porzingis is in finally, and they tried to get him the ball, it looks like, a couple of times. A little bit sloppy here. But then you got to ask yourself, what kind of shape is Porzingis in, Dave? I mean, why are we it feels like we shouldn't even talk about Porzingis from an offensive perspective until at least game 2, no? Or maybe game 3?
Correct. I didn't really want to even bring him into the handicap until after this game.
I know.
Like, I didn't see how you could actually weigh it into the numbers. So, I mean, you had his numbers right there on the screen. You look at it and you go, really? Is he going to do this just like he hasn't played in 40 days? That's a long time. Right. So, naturally, all right, so 0.1 points a game, 7.2 rebounds. I don't know. Does he just come out and shoot over 50%? What if he starts slow?
Yes.
He doesn't play as many minutes. So, I don't know. Big hesitation for me on him.
Good point.
Great player, but I don't know. Only the guys, the Celtics training room knows, and the Celtics coaching staff knows. I don't even think he knows. So when you're sitting in a book, you remember when you sit in a book and you watch these games with these, watch the games with people that have bets on them. Are you?
Yep.
You remember the guy that would be like standing up going, he hasn't scored yet.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yes.
Tatum,
yeah.
Like, are you ripping up your Tatum tickets right now? He hasn't scored yet. What are we doing? Why is Porzingis not shooting?
Yep.
What is you can't overreact, right? Like, that's one of the things I tell people all the time. It's the first quarter. Slow it down.
Settle down. Everybody settle down. I do think I did not understand that the fading of Kyrie, the amount of people I've talked to this week who are just convinced that Holiday and Derek White, that Kyrie is he's a fade for this series, where he's not going to be as efficient. He's not going to get his points props. Maybe he'll get his assist props, but I get it from the standpoint of, listen, you're not going to stop Luka, Dave. Sorry, you're not going to. Nothing you have on a team, as good as you are, you're not stopping Luka. Where it comes in, the problem is if you don't stop Kyrie either, then you lose this series. So to me, I think it's going to be, the idea is all hands on deck. Make sure Kyrie doesn't get going. Let Luka have his. But if you get Luka and Kyrie, then this is going to be a very long series for the Boston Celtics. So I get it, but I won't run to the window and fade Kyrie Irving in his numbers. Absolutely not.
I don't think so. He's the key to the whole thing, because, like you said, Luka's going to get his pretty much every night. There might be one of the games where they get him or he's off or whatever, but I think Kyrie is the thing that makes it all go. I think Kyrie's a big reason why they're here. Why are they going to go away from that? To find ways to get him involved. If Holiday has him on lock, we'll run him into 2 picks. So
correct.
I don't know. I didn't buy it either. I thought all this talk about him returning to Boston and all this other stuff doesn't matter.
Nope. 20-15 here, about the 5.5-minute mark. Boston on top. We'll have more from the NBA Finals coming up next in Game Live Primetime.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. We are primetime here on the SportsGrid Network as we close out this opening hour. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. We are off and running in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Got about 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. A lot of threes, a lot of missed assignments, easy layups and slam dunks. And right now, 24-18. The Boston Celtics on top here. And it was funny that you just said it. This looks like an all-star game, like a three-point shooting contest right now because both of these teams are very content with doing their thing. But for a team that shoots up with her 43s a game, it's nothing new for Boston. But what's going to be interesting is that it becomes a math problem for Dallas if they don't make just as many. So there's only so many ways you can keep a game close if Boston's making all those threes, and then that becomes, I think that's when the over starts coming into play here big time for Dallas.
The Celtics are 4 of 11. They've shot 11 threes already.
In the first quarter.
It's not over yet. There's still 3 minutes left. If we're going to put up 11 right now, I mean, they could end up with, 15 in the first quarter?
Yep.
It's clear this is what they're going to do. Until when? Until nothing. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep shooting. So once they start going in, were they going to call timeout and say, throw it in the paint? Let's go to the free throw line? Probably not. So the numbers moving, what I got 2 bets back down to 218.5, 219.5. It keeps bouncing. I saw while we were on a break, I saw as high as 223.5 at one of the places that I'm looking at. It came right back down. Miss. When you get multiple misses in a row by both sides, the total moves not exponentially, but it moves by 2s and 3s instead of by 1.
Yep.
So nobody's in real foul trouble yet. There hasn't been that many fouls. I think one of the things we might have to look at prop-wise, team-wise, is number of free throws made under, because they're not going to get to the foul line that much if they're just shooting threes and everybody's kind of hanging out by the lane. By the way, did you see – you did say something on the Twitter. Yesterday, Wetzel and I were doing the show. He said in 5 minutes, if he played an NBA game, 5 minutes of play, he would get a rebound. I asked him, how tall is he? He said 5'10". I said, what shoes are you going to wear? He said, I got my Hokas. He's an official. I said, when's the last – do you jump? He said, absolutely not. I haven't jumped. I can't jump. No. He still thinks he could get a rebound. Could he get a rebound, Raineri? Wouldn't touch the ball, right?
Well, I mean, listen, right place, right time. I guess anything is possible. But my answer would be no. There wouldn't be a rebound in his future at all. Not to mention that the ball could hit him right in the head, ricochet right to him. He still ain't catching it. So who we kidding, Wetzel? We've seen the athleticism going on there, Dave. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. I appreciate him thinking that.
He dribbles the ball. He does a bounce pass to the kids while they're getting ready to shoot free throws. I think he would catch it, but how is he going to get near it? Like if he got a guy guarding him, he ain't going to see the ball unless he's standing on one side and the ball goes over there. He's not getting a rebound. I told Jack that yesterday. No. Jack's doing a show. No. Vinny was on. We were laughing. We were having a good time. They cut a great clip. No. I know I wouldn't get a rebound. It's not happening. You wouldn't get a rebound. There's no shot.
I wouldn't want a rebound. Like I would want nothing to do with anything rebound. I'll chuck it up and you go get the rebound, Wetzel. How's that? I'll throw it up, you go get the rebound, and we'll be good to go. Especially, and I guess it all depends on who the competition is you are playing here, but you've got to, rebounding is all about want. You have to want to rebound. You have to want to go get the ball. I have no desire to do that whatsoever there. No. Absolutely no desire. I don't even want to go pick up my golf ball, much less have to pick up a rebound. Like you got to be kidding me here. They do have a timeout there in the first quarter. 10-point lead right now. That was, and we'll keep an eye on it. Don't forget that was one of the props we took a look at regarding how big would the lead be in this game. And right now, 28-18, still 2.5 to go. We'll have much more on this game as InGame Live PrimeTime, the NBA Finals, Game 1. Come back and join us here on the Grid.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen. And the answer is, it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, Prime Time.
20-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, Overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in, off and running another hour here of In-Game Live Primetime on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. The lead is now 17 for the Celtics. Boy, that prop looking good right now here pregame. 37-20 right now with about 30 seconds left to go. Maybe the best part about what the Celtics are doing is we are on target for our over in the first half prop. Porzingis chucking him up here, Dave, which is a good sign if you are a Boston backer because he looks like he's starting to get a little more acclimated defensively and, of course, throwing it down. But I'm seeing 14.5s to 20.5. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, let me take a quick look here. Wow. Yeah, 14.5. I have two. Yeah. It's just changed 219.5, 220.5. Keeps bouncing back and forth.
Yep.
So one team on pace, one team not on pace for their team total, which would then cancel each other out to keep us on pace for the total for the game. So
correct.
We talked about it. It was going to go this way more likely than not. Boston, forget the rust. Rest was good. They're making shots. They keep shooting them. Pretty good pace for the first half total for Boston. Somehow was only 56.5. I again, sometimes these numbers, guys in the books, fellow odds makers and stuff, we make numbers and argue about them, and this would be one of the ones I'd stand up and say, listen, we've been talking about this for a year. The whole season. The Celtics average 62 points a game or more. Average is about 62.5. Why are we putting this total 56.5? It's not like Dallas is a strong defensive team. So far, so good. Porzingis, 4 or 5 from the field, 11 points. Boston looks like they're lighting it up. All the Dallas backers are going, what did I do? Why am I? If you're on the Dallas ticket, you panicking yet?
No. Again, the best player on the court plays for Dallas, so it's everyone settle down here. We got plenty of time to go. I will say this, fascinating enough, in that first quarter. 37% from the field for Dallas, 56% for Boston. And you nailed it, Dave. 7 of 15, 46% from three, just 2 of 8 for Dallas. But 4 free throws, 4 of 4 from the line for Boston. Dallas has not attempted a free throw. That is not good. They need to get to the line here as well and make sure they can get some of those free points. But maybe the thing that is most disturbing for Dallas is the 19-6 out rebounding by Boston there. That is not going to be good. They're not getting any second chance opportunities, and this is going to become a math problem, right? Another 15 attempts from three in the second quarter means that you got to up the output here, Dallas. That means you either got to go up tempo or you got to start taking some more threes here, Dave. It becomes a serious math problem with a team like Boston who's going to hit 46% from threes and average 45 a game on them.
All true. Biggest lead right now is 17. So the
That's
prop
crazy.
with coming back, the 50-1 is live at 3 points. If Boston makes the next 3-pointer, gets a 20-point lead, Dallas coming back and winning after trailing was 60-1. So we talked about that number. This is not a good start. I just got a text from a buddy down south, one of the joints. Oops, this wasn't a good start for Dallas. And we're going to be on here looking at the numbers going, geez, at what point do you want them in game, Joe? Is 20.5 enough? They got to slow this down. It has to slow down.
After one quarter, look, we have seen Boston do this every game one in the playoffs and beyond. At home, game one, off a long rest, it doesn't, but they have thrown these numbers up in every game one so far in the playoffs, Dave. So this is nothing new for the Boston Celtics. Now the question is, listen, Dallas didn't get to the free throw line. They didn't attempt to try to get to the free throw line, and you have half the output or half the attempts from three. That's a problem. So you either better figure out a way to get a couple of more rebounds on some of those misses, or you got to get to the free throw line. But Kyrie's got 4 points. Your boy Doncic has got 7, but it wasn't a great shooting quarter for them either. Derek Lively, by the way, no points. He was a big part of what they're doing. PJ Washington, no points. So they got to settle down and get a couple of stops, right, Dave? And listen, Boston's not going to shoot 50% the entire series from three. We know what happens when sometimes with Boston, Dave, it becomes live by the three, die by the three. And if they're not falling, that's when the teams like Indiana, like everybody we've seen, that's when they had an opportunity to make a dent into the lead. So they're going to have to do that. Get a couple of stops, hope for a couple of misses. And as long as this thing's within 10, Dave, at any point for Dallas heading into the fourth quarter, they're still alive as far as I'm concerned. They're certainly alive to cover.
For sure. It's not time to completely panic yet, but
no.
I like to look at the numbers as they're going, right? You said it. Rebounds is 16-6 difference.
Problem.
The assist numbers 9 for Boston, 3 for Dallas. So maybe not so much the ball movement is working. And then what else did I see here that jumped off the page? The turnovers. 5 turnovers for Boston, and Dallas only has 2. So it's a volume game, right? We can turn the ball over. We can miss the threes at the beginning. We're going to keep shooting them. 8 for 17. Just hit refresh. 8 for 17 for the Celtics. 2 of 8. Joe, we got to look at a third guy, I think, for Dallas, because the numbers are so low that, the second quarter just started. Who's getting involved for the Mavericks? Like, who? I don't know which guy would even pick.
Well, it's interesting because now Washington finally went up there as the, Sam Hauser's in and making threes. So, it might be a long night when the Celtics are throwing out Hauser and he's making 3-point shots from the corner. But also what you're starting to see here is Dallas has decided to muscle up. P.J. Washington took it to the rim, caught the foul. So he is at the free throw line. And that's what they got to do, right? They got to chip away from this because it's a game of runs, right? We know this. At some point, they're going to go through a little bit of a lull, shooting threes, and Dallas has got to be able to capitalize by doing just this. Get to the foul line, get some fouls on some guys, and kind of mix it up along those lines. But, you can't spot them too much. 44-26 right now with 9.5 to go. InGame, though, which is going to be my fun one here to keep an eye on, is 220.5, Dave, 16.5 right now. Where do you jump in? Because I don't see Boston taking their foot off the gas if this is the way it's going to be.
No. Like I said, maybe 20?
No.
Maybe 20.5?
That's what I'm thinking.
Would be,
I'm thinking.
Right? But we got to see we got to see Dallas change a little bit. We got to see them, like you said, slow it down, get to the foul line.
Yep.
Come out and play D on the three. Like get someone out there. They keep shooting what it looks like open shots. We got a couple guests coming up,
and they keep missing layups.
Yeah.
They keep missing layups, and that's not good, Dallas. More next here on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, Prime Time.
20-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, Overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live prime time, very special edition here. The NBA Finals are on about 8 minutes to go here in the second. 44-27, Boston on top. Eric Lindquist stepping in here, talking some NBA with us, and Eric, certainly appreciate it. So far, your thoughts on what we've seen here early in this game?
Porzingis. Hello. He looks all right. It helps when you can block multiple shots at the rim, follow down, and play bully ball where you just switch onto Hardy and pain and suffering personified. I'm so mad at myself right now. Boston minus 6.5, passed, stared at it all week, didn't touch it, decided that, you don't know what the health looks like, and faded him as it seemed apparent that Al Horford had a chance to start. That ends up coming to fruition. Ended up on the under of first quarter points. 3.5 there for Porzingis. Ended up on the under 15.5, under and 16.5. Under across the board, I'm in so much pain right now.
What did you look at for Dallas? I know you. I mean, because and I don't even want to bring it up about the Minnesota thing, and we had enough time to put it past this everything. The Twins are getting waxed by the Yankees all week, and there's a lot of things happening there. I'm just trying to get it out of the way while you're here.
No, it's fine.
Dallas,
it's fine. Get invited now so Dave can make fun.
No, absolutely not. Just wanted to get that out of the way. We've talked enough that we can have these discussions. Any Dallas props, guys, scoring props, assists, anything that you looked at that said this has got to be a good play, maybe one or two for the people?
Yeah, I had Derek Jones Jr. at 7.5 points. That's one spot that I ended up being pretty invested. Had him in for around 35 minutes. Seemed like the minutes consensus around the industry was 32, 33. Felt like you need him out there against wings, and they were kind of factoring in the downside a little bit more there. Defensively, he's been incredible, him and P.J. Washington. And P.J. Washington, early foul trouble here, paying attention to that one as well. Thought that both of them were good ancillary pieces because if they're going to beat Boston, they're going to need the P.J. Washington who played in the Oklahoma City series. They're going to need the Derek Jones Jr. who's knocking down open shots because he's going to get them on the floor in space. They're going to allow Derek Jones Jr. to shoot at times as they focal in on Kyrie and Lucas. So for me, those were the two guys that I thought there were some pretty low props on, but it looked pretty decent across the board. I'm not a huge fan of betting on the old studs when it comes to playoff time here. End up being some of the more hammered overs, and I'll short a couple of here and there, but looked pretty good across the board. Wanted game one to play out a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny too. Here we are again, right? Jaylen Brown, I think he closed 28.5, 29, somewhere in that ballpark. He's down to 21.5. Not exactly killing it. But then again, like you said, Porzingis God is in, I guess he doesn't have to be, but usually quiet first halves for Tatum sometimes lead to much better second halves here. And I'm wondering if, is he just a stay away at this point? Because if this game gets blown out, who's going to rack up the garbage points here, Eric? And who should we be focusing in on?
Yeah, it's a 21-point game now at the 6:30 mark of the second quarter. Things are escalating quickly, if you will. I would be looking at Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, getting a little bit of money down on that side of the street. We're looking also at a pretty good run out. If you're going to see Jaden Hardy play some more minutes, that's going to be somebody that in garbage time could go absolutely berserk. He is out there to score a basketball, and come the end of the game, they're pretty much going to let him do whatever he wants to in that fourth quarter if this is 30 points, 35 points going into it. But game ones are generally a feel them out point. It's going to be hard to find a ton of value there as I'm looking at some of the numbers live. The Jaylen Brown under, I still kind of think that that's advantageous, 20.5, 21.5. And then just shorting that one, Jason Tatum is going to go a mile under 42.5, 43.5 for his total PRA. What is he at total? 10? 10 is not ideal. Jason Tatum, he's on the best team in the NBA. He'll be just fine. This is just absurd to watch.
It is absurd to watch. And I wanted to cycle back before the series. Okay. We had enough time to think about it, talk about it. Where were you at with this thing? Like, we had a great graphic with all the prices, Boston in 5, Boston in 6, Boston in 7, Dallas in the same respective things. Everybody's watching this, and what tomorrow is going to be an overreaction. If Boston wins this game by 20, is this sweep become an actual possibility? Because Joe and I, before the game, agreed there's no sweep. How did you feel about the series prior to what you just saw in the first quarter and a half?
So I ended up putting together, there were a couple of alternate numbers. You were able to get game one Boston along with Boston for the series, and that kind of trimmed down to south of minus 150. Thought that was the right way to play that. That was the only piece that I ended up taking from a series price perspective over on FanDuel. But I think looking at the board for tomorrow, remember, Boston is the best team in the association. They have the best offensive net rating. I have the best offensive adjusted defensive rating for them as well, just ahead of the Timberwolves, which is pretty wild. Has to do with more of the perimeter strength and the weighting that I have there. But I am very confident that that come tomorrow, you're going to see some flip-flopped numbers coming off of this one, and it might be a buy into Dallas spot for me. If you were to jump in now, I won't be because I'm on Boston as it is, but we've seen them lose 2 game twos now in consecutive series to start off these NBA playoffs. I can't say that that's completely outside of the realm, considering it's happened in 2 of the 3 series. Do I think it's unlikely? Absolutely. We'll probably see an opening number around 7.5 this time around, wouldn't you think, Dave?
Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes knowing the zigzag's coming, the book will open it a half point lower to see if anybody's interested in laying it, because you'll be looking to take it in the morning, especially after this. If it continues to be a blowout, you might inch it up to 7 and see where the first bet is, but I think the first bet will come Dallas. You're thinking right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
what are you going to do the rest of the night?
at.
Are you going to watch this, Eric? Are you going to stay tuned to the game, or at some point do you just go, I've had enough NBA basketball and my team's out?
I don't know.
I'm done.
We got Boston up 7-0 taking on the White Sox, so I could go tune into that one. My Twins are in a rain delay as it stands right now, getting pounded 8-5 in that one. No evening baseball really on the onset, so that's kind of a bummer. Arizona, San Diego. So I'm going to be watching that because that'll be an enjoyable experience. Don't have anything on it. Might have to go short my old friend Slade Ciccone here in this spot, but that's probably what's in store.
As long as Porzingis ain't playing for Arizona, you're good, Eric. Appreciate it.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, Prime Time.
1-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, Overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. We are prime time here, and there is something that resembles a basketball game going on right now. The NBA, the finals, game 1 is underway. Not that you would know it, because the Celtics are up 58-31 here, 3.5 minutes to go. The Celtics are up so much, they're just happy taking shot clock violations now. They're not even shooting the ball anymore, as they are laughing at Dallas. It's quite evident that one team very locked in and loaded. But again, this should not come to a surprise, Dave. We gave all the numbers last hour. Home teams with the better record as favorites in game one in the finals. I mean, it's nearly an 80% trend showing that, yeah, they're going to win, and they're going to win probably rather easily here in game one. And that's what they're on pace for right now. But it's the lack of effort from Dallas that's worrisome. Not the score. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But it's the effort that's a bit head-scratching right now from Dallas.
Again, it's lose the battle, win the war. I don't know if I agree with it, but you see it all the time. You've seen it, not so maybe much in the playoffs, but when you realize it's not your night, the sooner you realize it, not that they're already thinking about Sunday night game two, but you're like, whoa, we didn't know that Porzingis was 110%. Dallas led this game 15-14. Dallas led this game 15-14. It's 58-31 with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Yes.
So, again, I don't know who's responsible for the first half number for the Celtics. 56.5, already over that number. The total is really interesting. It's really hard to come up with the right side for the total because, Joe, what does Dallas do? What are we going to do different? Well, I'm going to go get somebody. I'm going to go get, Dirk Nowitzki to come out of the locker room at halftime and cover Porzingis. What do we do if we're Dallas?
Right. You head back to the hotel at this point and start again on Sunday. That's the best you can do. But I'll say this. Are you noticing a trend here with Luka? Like he gets inside the paint and then he's not looking to score. He's looking to pass. He's given up. Have you noticed that? Like he's giving up opportunities to take it to the hoop. He finally stopped that and just scored. But I didn't understand that. He kept trying to pass. Like he wasn't shooting and he wasn't forcing the issue inside the paint. So I hope that doesn't continue, Dave, because we've seen at least a half a dozen chances in the paint where he's literally looking, everyone's collapsing on him and he's trying to find somebody to hit a three and nobody has done it. I think it's clear what Boston's game plan is. When he gets there, they're crashing on him. They're bringing everybody into Luka, and this is where you need, we saw it in OKC, right? You need guys like PJ Washington. You need, some of these guys are going to have to start making some shots to alleviate some of that defense they're throwing at Luka right now. Otherwise, they're going to throw four guys on him anytime he gets right to the inside the paint. They're not going to make life easy on him.
Nope. And let's see. We got PJ Washington with 4 points. His in-game numbers down to 9.5.
Terrible, yes.
Luka's looking for help.
Wide open threes, too.
Kyrie has 6 points. His in-game prop numbers down to 18.5. Everyone else on the Celtics, my goodness. Jaylen Brown has 13. Porzingis has 15. Derek White has 8. His total's up to 15.5. Jason Tatum, 6 points so far. In-game points total down to 19.5. If you think it's going to be one of those, we let everyone else get involved. Let's go get Jay his. You bet over that number in the second half. You bet it over now. I mean, you get him scoring prop. I don't remember the last time he got under 20. Somebody can look that up maybe. But might be the night to say, hey, Jay, we got it. You relax. You know, he may not play much. The blowout factor comes into play now more than ever. So I think we got to be real careful about Celtics player props. Trying to pick which one, Joe. I don't know.
Well, Luka, 1 of 5 from 3. Kyrie, 0 of 2. PJ Washington, 0 of 2. Jones Jr. is the only one that's hit one. But, you know, you need, and they were all wide open, too, if we're being honest here. A lot of wide open threes that they bricked. They got to make a few more of those if they're going to make any sort of push here in the second half. You got just about 3 minutes to go, 58-33. We'll have the conclusion of the first half when we get back.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
InGame Live, Prime
3
Time.
to 1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
InGame Live, Overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, primetime here on the SportsGrid Network. We've got about 90 seconds left in the first half here, and to say it has been all Boston, I don't think does it any justice. But this is going to be a fascinating second half. It's 63-37 right now. About a minute 20 to go here in the first half. It has been... I can't even say that they're not even going to get 40 points here, Dave, but I can't say, Boston's defense has been just lights out. Dallas has just absolutely been horrific here in shooting the ball, missing layups, not getting rebounds. It's just been a comedy of errors for him at this point here, Dave.
Got 17 of 40.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of effort we get. Yeah.
17 of 40 from the field for Dallas. That's 42%. 2 of 12 from 3, 17%. Versus 11 for 25 for the Celtics. 44% from 3. Joe, you said before it was a math problem. 3 is more than 2 every time. But if you keep doing it, it just grows. I don't know. Again, the in-game number is 20.5. And if I say, like the Celtics were doing early with Al Horford, I put you in a corner and I say, Joe, 20.5. Are you laying or taking right now? I got to be honest. You're supposed to say taken. I don't know if I would say taken. This might be that ugly Boston Game 1 massacre things that we saw in the past. Dallas may have walked into something that they didn't know was coming with Porzingis being 100%. He looks great. Would you lay it or take it? Seriously, 20 points. I'm going to give you 20 points.
No, I'm going to take Dallas in the second half, without a doubt. Because right there, they scored 26 points in the second quarter, Boston. They didn't light them up by any stretch. Dallas lit themselves up. So some of these things are variants. And we did see Luka finally start to look like Luka there in the final couple of minutes. So, yes, I think you're going to see a totally different Dallas team coming out. Don't think it's going to matter. They're not going to come back and win this game. But they are certainly capable of being able to keep it within 18, 19 points. It's not going to be rollover city in the NBA Finals in Game 1 for Dallas. And again, if they would have dropped 35 here as well, I would have been like, yeah, maybe you just fight to see another day. They scored 26 points in the second quarter, Boston.
Yeah.
This is a game that they can get back in here rather, but they need to do it in the third quarter, and they need to do it quickly.
Porzingis stats, 12 minutes played, 18 points, 3 rebounds, no assist, 7 of 9 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 of 3 from 3. Uh-oh. I got a buddy watching it right now. He's commenting on my hat. He likes it a lot. I call him Butchie. Butchie said he feels bad for, people holding Dallas plus 6.5. You think there's any shot they cover the original number?
No. Listen, we're all holding -6, -6.5 for Boston. Take the plus 18 with Dallas. You'll never find a better middle in the entire world in the rest of the series right now. If you're holding Boston tickets, absolutely. Luke is not rolling over. And again, if this was just pure annihilation on the Celtics on a defensive end, or if they were dropping another 35 in the second quarter because they couldn't miss, it was 26-22 in the second quarter. This is going to be a closer game moving forward here. And Luka was already cursing. How many free throws did they end up with here, Dave? That's the other interesting part here. How many free throws did Dallas end up taking? They had none in the first quarter. They didn't even get to the line.
Yeah, they were 3 of 6.
And they missed
from
3, of course.
Free throw line. Yeah, they missed 3 of them. Boston was 4 of 6. So, maybe there'll be more fouls in the second half. I don't know. We got.
How many times do you think they're going to let Porzingis go without hitting him? How many times do you think they're going to let Porzingis get off in the second half without somebody coming over and hammering him at some point here?
Well, I would think you have to do that, right? I would think you have to do that.
Yes.
So,
and where's Horford been? Has he even played since the opening 2 minutes?
It's the opening tip. Let's see what are his stats.
Oh my goodness! I hope Horford tickets. I hope he got over 6.5 points because he may not see the court again for the rest of the game.
5 points.
How many's he got?
He's got 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He did play 16 minutes. So, what's he going to play? Half of that the second half, maybe 8. I don't know. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking.
I would play Porzingis a little bit more. Let him work it out. Let him do his thing. It's a hell of a night for Boston so far. The Red Sox are up 8-0. They're cruising or 9-0. Sorry, can't keep track of that. They keep scoring. The Chicago White Sox, Joe. Seriously, just to have a quick aside, can you remember a more recent super bad team than the Chicago White Sox right now? They blew the leads against the Cubs the last 2 days, but they're stuck 9-0. Boston was -250 on the road today, and you didn't have to sweat it because of the White Sox. White Sox, terrible.
Oh, no hit too right now. They're being no hit. They're being no hit through 6 innings. Yeah, so. This should be interesting. How bad can you get here? Tanner Houck has 5 Ks. It's actually a perfect game he's throwing right now through 5.
Whoa!
He's not even giving up a hit yet. Yeah, so he's not giving up a walk either. So this will be interesting right now. Do they throw the towel in the White Sox here? How many pitches does Houck have? That'll tell you. He's only got 60 pitches right now. And he's through 5 innings. So this will be interesting.
We got to let this guy go.
I agree. The problem is you might have a backup shortstop pitching for the White Sox here shortly. And then it could just get to that. It could get to that kind of disgustingness here. But boy, largest halftime lead of Game 1 of an NBA Finals series. 30 was the record Then you had, and actually 1985 Celtics over the Lakers in game one. They were plus 30. You had the 1960 Celtics over the Hawks. That too was 25. And then they come in third this year as the third largest lead at the break in a game one for Boston Celtics history with 21 points over the Dallas Mavericks. So history being made in maybe both spots, both Boston teams tonight making history here. Can Howe continue? Perfect game.
Can you imagine throwing a perfect game on the night that the Celtics win by like 30 in game one of the NBA Finals? It's not even the first story. I'm hoping he does it, but I'm hoping like you that the Mavs come back. I want to see them come back. I remember that game against the Lakers. Who won that series? That Boston Massacre. Who won that series? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was the Lakers. It was the Showtime Lakers. Yeah, it was 85. Yep. It was Magic and Worthy and Kareem, and they all came back. So it means nothing. It's one game. And by the way, it's not even a game. It's a half. And I do think it's far from over. So I would expect. Let's see what Jason Kidd's got in store. Sharpen that number 2 pencil, Jason Kidd, and show us what you got here. Should be an interesting look. In this, not you, Dave. I didn't say you sharpen the number 2 pencil. I thought you meant me. You got the point there. Yeah, no, I didn't mean you. But we still have a second half to get through. Come back and join us in-game live primetime.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
20-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live primetime here on the SportsGrid Network as we await the start of the second half NBA Finals Game 1. 21-point lead right now for the Boston Celtics, and we are also keeping an eye on a perfect game being thrown by another Boston team, the Red Sox, taking on the White Sox. The problem is they may never get out of the sixth inning as Boston just keeps scoring runs here. It's 11-0. But Tanner Houck does have no walks, 5 Ks, no hits here as eventually he'll get to the bottom of the 6th inning. Adam Kaufman in the house, stepping in. Adam, I'm going to guess by the shirt we're looking at a Celtics play here tonight of some sort, but it'd be pretty cool to get a Tanner Houck free, perfect game on top of a Celtics win, wouldn't it?
You know what's so funny is our buddy Brady Cannon, who's on these shows all the time, always likes to refer to the people that are in the waiting room to come on as being backstage. So I was backstage, waiting while you guys were chatting. And it honestly, I swear, not until you mentioned that Tanner Houck was twirling a perfect game did I have any idea that was going on. I have been so locked into this basketball game. I knew the Red Sox were up by a ton because I kept getting the notifications on my phone, like another run. But I just knew it was a shutout. I had no idea it was a no-hitter, perfect game. How could have been no clue. Absolutely no idea. I have been fully focused on all things Celtics. But yeah, hope he gets it done. Although if he could do me a solid and ease up on the Ks, that would be great because I did take Houck under 6.5 strikeouts, and he's sitting at 5 right now.
Fair enough.
So this is what happens, right? You're up there, and it's all Celtics all the time and everything, and then the game happens, and they're up 21 points at halftime. I mean, it is a blowout. Like that's how
should be more. If they hadn't played like crap the last 2 minutes of the half, Sharapan, they'd be up 28 or 29 right now. So let's question, Adam, is Dallas coming back based on what you saw and what you're dialed into? You look at the in-game number and you go, Joe's like automatically I'm taking Dallas. I'm considering where if I was to put you in a corner like Al Horford. Not throw you the ball and ask you to hit a 3, say, Adam, you get to lay it or take it, 20.5 points. What do you think? Is Dallas coming back at all? So, man, if I like you said, backed into a corner, I have to take a play, then sure, I would take Dallas with a 20.5 and just, look to, I guess, middle because I'm on the Celtics minus 6.5 and minus 6. Actually, I got it a couple of times coming into this game. That being said, there are a couple of different ways to look at it. We know that in today's NBA, teams blow 20-plus point leads literally every single night. So a 20-point lead in 2024 isn't what a 20-point or even a 15-point lead was back in like the 1990s, when I was coming up watching basketball and you were working the book or overseas somewhere, making martinis for people while setting lines. But this Celtics team, I don't see any way that Dallas comes back tonight. When I say comes back, I mean like comes all the way back and wins. Like, yeah, could they cut it to the teens? Can they, maybe even squeak it under 10 and make Boston nervous? Sure. I'm not going to count out the Mavericks and a team led by Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in that way. But Boston has just played so almost flawlessly in this game, this opener of the NBA Finals, where, I said, and it was such a long layoff, boys. You know this. You've been talking about it. We have to listen to all the talking heads, all the mouth breathers of the national media trying to talk themselves, bend over backwards, talking themselves into why Dallas not only was going to take game 1, but win this series. I had a guy on my show last night tell me the Mavericks were going to win this thing in 5 games. People have completely undervalued who the Celtics are, what the Celtics are, how deep they are, and the fact that if they were to lose, never mind the series, any game within this series, the way it happens is they go cold shooting the basketball. I'm not concerned about Boston's defense. I'm not concerned about Luka getting his. He has 17 of their 42 points. Luka's going to be awesome. He's going to be awesome every single game. No matter how difficult you make it for him, he's still going to be awesome and put up his numbers. You have to contain the guys around him, the supporting cast, which is what the Celtics are doing right now. And they're hitting like crazy from 3. The role players are doing it. It's been a relatively quiet night out of Jason Tatum because Kristaps Porzingis, who people wondered, how healthy is he? He's not even starting. Is he going to be on a minutes restriction? Dude has 18 points in the opening half, had 10 or 11 in the first quarter, and is playing maybe the best game of his life in his NBA Finals debut after not having played in a month. I'd say he's refreshed and rested. If they get this Porzingis throughout a series, Boston's going to take this thing in 4 or 5 games.
3 of 13 for Dallas from 3, 11 of 27 for Boston. I'm curious. In-game total 210.5 now. If Dallas does make a run, the threes are going to keep going for Boston. We know this here. But if Dallas is to get back into this, are we going over? I mean, it closed at 217.5.
Yeah, and I got some CLV. I got it over 214.5 yesterday before it jumped up 3 points today. I don't really know why it moved up quite as much as it did before tip-off. But, it's interesting. I would say as far as in-game betting, if you believe Dallas is going to make a run, then yes, I would bet the over. But if you think that this game is going to kind of continue the way it's been going and Boston wins this thing going away and you don't get a whole lot of pushback in the second half from Dallas, I would say under, because, I don't think Boston is going to, once we get to let's say the 6 or 8 minute mark of the fourth quarter, if it still looks like this, Boston's not going to be just trying to score every time down the floor. It's just going to be bleed the clock, play this thing out, stay healthy, and just sort of bide your time. So as much as I'm rooting for the over, personally, for my wallet, I could certainly see a situation where it doesn't get there if this thing gets really lopsided.
Green looks good on you.
We
You
got
10 seconds. Is Danny Hurley going to coach the Lakers, or is he staying at UConn?
I hope not, because he is a cash cow at UConn. He makes people a lot of money at UConn, and I don't know what's going to happen to the Huskies if he leaves. Also, can you imagine a world, realistically, where LeBron and AD are answering to that crazy man on the sidelines? No way.
I can't wait.
Redick,
everyone loves a good car crash.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
3-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, so this is either a really good sign for Dallas or a terrible sign for Boston. But it appears that eventually Tanner Howe came out for the bottom of the sixth inning after a 48-minute top half of that inning and has proceeded to give up 2 hits and 1 run. So perfect game gone, shutout gone. So this is either great news for Dallas, Dave, or just this is not going to be a good night here. But this has been a slow start to start the second half for both of these teams. We're starting to see some fouls now being called. It's a 68 to 50 rather game right now with 8 minutes, but we're starting to see a little more physicality here. Dave, you noticed that?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm paying attention to it, but I'm not. I'm not watching it nearly as close as my buddy Butchie, who's at a book watching it, or my other buddy Dave, who did just send me a text that said, "You guys jinxed the perfect game. You guys were talking about it, saying it like
that's correct.
We didn't jinx anything. We had nothing to do with
that.
No,
I hope I did.
It is over.
I hope I did. I'm a Yankee fan, so you're damn right I jinxed it, and I'm very proud of it. So how you going there? Do you like me now? Exactly. It's what happens when you get the microphone. You get the blow up things you don't like. It's exactly what I was hoping would happen there. That's right. Yeah. And just there. It's an easy, 10-1 game now, or 11-1. Still plenty of bats for Chicago to come back and win this game. Just saying. Opportunities presenting themselves. But we still have a rain delay at Yankee Stadium for some reason, too. It's been fifth inning in 2 hours now. Like, what are we waiting for here? Just call the game. It's Minnesota. They're not coming back, Dave.
It's the last game for them there. It's the last game of the series. It's the last only trip in. So they're going to sit there all night and wait. What's the all right? You want White Sox plus 10.5? It's only minus 120. How many times can you take a baseball team plus 10.5 in the sixth inning and only have to lay 120? Now it's down to 115 because Boston's coming up to hit in the top of the seventh. I don't know, Joe. Well, I always, you talked about it, taking Dallas. Here they come, 68, 52, 7.5 minutes left, down 16, right there. We're going to get physical. We're going to get to the line. We're going to get this thing, what? We're not getting over the total. Are we? We're not getting over the total. The closing game total, 216.5, 217.5. No way. I don't think so.
So, it's a 10-5 run to start the third quarter for Dallas. But here's the gig. To me, it's just, is Boston going to get up the same volume of threes? I mean, how much do we really? Boston's not going to cut back on shooting threes, and the more Dallas cuts into this, the more they're going to keep trying to shoot threes, and the more chance you have of this thing going. In-game number now 206.5. Dave, and it feels like Dallas has finally figured some things out offensively. They're not going to be 44 points in the second half. So anything more that they give us, I still think right now at 206.5, not a bad place to jump back in. I don't think it's going under that. I don't think both these teams all of a sudden are going to pull the plug and start playing, crawling to the basket. And the more free throws we get, closer it is that we got an over coming up here. 206.5 feels light here for a team that's going to chuck up 45 threes in a game.
It's true. But if it stays this deficit, then it's going to go under, right? Dallas has to come back for the game to get even close to over the total. Who'd be the MVP?
They're not going to stop shooting, though,
of the game.
So that's
the
whole thing.
If you had to award the MVP of the game, it's painfully obvious right now who the MVP of the game is. Is it not? I think it's an easy answer. If you're watching on SportsGrid and you want to tweet at us, tweet at Raineri. It's Porzingis.
We're 3 minutes into the third quarter. Were we crowning MVPs? Like, wait a minute. Whoa.
It said, the game, for the MVP of the game. I'm following along here on the list of things to talk about. It says, who's the MVP of the game so far? Who's the MVP of the game so far? It's Porzingis, right?
But
I don't think it's anybody else.
What if Dallas gets it within a couple of buckets? Then who's the player of the game? Would probably be somebody on Dallas, wouldn't it? So that's the problem.
Maybe.
Revisit that in the fourth quarter. I got to see what Dallas does here in these next couple of minutes. Come back and join us. In-game live prime time.